This morning, the news, the papers are all full of what the Observer is calling national rage. Yeah? Wicked, dirty man. A photograph on the front page of the Observer in reference to the protests yesterday against violence against women and girls, and in particular the protest of the nurses, where thousands of nurses all over the island, there are different parts of the island, yes, expressed their anger at what this placard says is a wicked, dirty man who physically assaulted a nurse last week. Yeah? It's a similar story on the front page of North Street's Gleaner. Boiling point. Nurses demand action to end violence against women. Enough is enough. And they captured partially the same two placards that's on the front page of the Observer. Yeah? They also have on the front page of the Gleaner a photograph of what took place at University of Technology yesterday, UTech. UTech rallies for justice after Anissa Dilworth's tragic death. That's in relation to the 20-year-old pharmaceutical student, Anissa Dilworth, who disappeared, and skeletal remains suspected to be hers found in Fort Clarence on the weekend. And reacting to the outrage over the spate of attacks on women and girls, the Prime Minister said last evening that he has issued a directive to his cabinet to expedite legislative amendments to strengthen the framework to combat violence against women and girls. The Prime Minister issued the order following yesterday's meeting of the Cabinet. In that meeting, the Prime Minister said he received a report from the National Commission on the Prevention of Violence.
We noted that as organized violence in the form of murders and serious crimes is declining significantly, domestic violence and gender-based violence is increasingly a cause for concern. And as Prime Minister, I condemn these attacks on our women and children. Your government has been working on a comprehensive approach to tackle violence generally in our society, and we now have the report of the National Commission on the Prevention of Violence. This report will be reviewed by the Cabinet next week and thereafter shared with stakeholders and the wider public.
The Prime Minister says the move forms part of his government's wider strategy to address violence through prevention, protection and prosecution, and he noted that the directive follows growing concern nationally about the recent incidents of gender-based violence.
I've also directed the relevant ministers to fast-track all pending legislation or policy that could improve the protection and security of our women and girls. Perpetrators should know that the government and the society speaks with one clear voice against violence.
Prime Minister Holness, well, the day yesterday was quite busy with the demonstrations and the orderly protests and demonstrations, and two cabinet ministers joined the demonstrators yesterday. The Health Minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, was on the streets with the nurses. So too was the Gender Minister, Olivia Babsy Grange. And she told the media yesterday that they will be reviewing the law governing access to the country's sex offenders registry. This is a moot issue where Jamaicans feel it is time that the access to the registry be opened so that Jamaicans can know who are the sex offenders living among them. Yes? Here's what Minister Grange said yesterday.
We're going to look into the act that governs the sex offences. I remember when we were debating in Parliament about the legislation, there were those advocates who said that we must protect the rights of the offenders, although they are offenders. And therefore the registry was not made public, but the information can be accessed. But the ordinary woman and the little girl and the family do not understand the bureaucracy. They do not understand how to access these things. And so we have to make the information more available.
So that's where we are. According to Minister Grange, we will have to make the information more accessible, yes, to members of the public, despite the voices of those who would want us to say that, listen, you have to protect the offenders, yes, as well, from continuous public pillage. Yeah? Grange called for an end to violence against women and girls, period.
We want justice! We want justice! No! We want justice! We want justice!
Today, I stand here with the Minister of Health. Today, I stand here with the Minister of State and the Ministry of National Security. Today, I stand here with representatives from the opposition. And I'm saying to you, it's not about politics. And no one must exploit the hardship that has women were going through and the violence that they are facing. We must get one. And today, we are here to show our support for the nurses and to show our support for women who are being abused and for girls who are being abused and who are being raped and being killed.
Babsy Grange, Minister of Gender Affairs. We also heard yesterday from a lady who has been subject to a lot of public criticism based on her job as Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice, Mikel Jackson. And Mikel weighed in on this issue of violence against women and girls. And she made a very important call yesterday that I think should find favor with most of us, if not all of us. According to the JFJ Executive Director, the government, through Parliament, now needs to clarify whether women and girls can use pepper spray as a self-defense tool.
I think it's important that the Jamaican Parliament clarifies whether or not females or any individual can carry pepper spray and mace for self-defense. Before, there was some incongruence between the Firearms Act and the Offences Weapon Act. I think following the review or the amendment of the Firearms Act, it would seem that this section is now removed. But I think it is important that the parliamentarians clarify so that there is no doubt among citizens that they are in fact authorized to carry mace and pepper spray for use of self-defense.
A very important point made, because there's some uncertainty over whether it's legal to do so. Although I know several women, who privately walk with their pepper spray and intend to use it if needed. But I think we need to, since we're in this moment, clarify. I think the gender minister, should use the occasion, the moment, to make the parliament clarify whether pepper spray, is legal to be used. And dare I say, it's not only a defense tool of women, but for some men, as well, may want to use it. So it's not only a tool for women, but for anyone. Depending on where you have to go, your work, you may not be able to take on a firearm, but you may want to take on a pepper spray. The Offensive Weapons Prohibition Act doesn't identify the use of pepper spray for personal protection as unlawful. However, the Firearms Act makes it unclear whether it can be carried for protection. Yeah? Ms. Jackson also called yesterday for the public to report all incidents of abuse against women and girls.
Looking at issues of rape, looking at issues of domestic violence, I think as a society, we also need some introspection. Far too many of us are willing to be a silent bystander. It's not my business. How many people report if they observe someone being violated? How many of us utilize the 211 when it comes to child abuse? We have work to do. We have to look within.
Oh, there's a 211 number for child abuse? A lot of people, I didn't know that. Yeah? 211 for child abuse. If you see a child being abused, yeah, you can report it by calling 211. I didn't know that. Thank you for that, Mikhail. I didn't know that. Yeah? Another group, WMW Jamaica, one of its members, Judith Weatherburn, is also supporting the call for the law to be amended to allow women to use pepper spray for self-defense.
I do recall that there is confusion, though. It's not clear whether they can and therefore will not be held to for the unlawful use of a weapon. Or yes, I really think it is unclear. So I agree with JFJ that the parliamentarians need to ensure that they discuss it, they get input from other members of society who are similarly concerned and make it very, very clear. Hopefully they will agree that women and girls are able to carry pepper spray and or mace to defend themselves.
According to Ms. Wedderburn, pepper spray could help neutralize dangerous situations.
Whether it is for 15, 10, 20 seconds, it neutralizes the danger by women and girls and gives them an opportunity to escape, to have to make a phone call, or continue to use the pepper spray if they use it once. And I am told it can make the offender get dizzy or can't see. Those couple moments might just be sufficient for the girl or the woman who is under attack to get help. So I think it's a serious matter, and we should take it on and support the call.
That's a key point, Judith Wedderburn there of WMW Jamaica. Yes, in a dangerous situation, if you can deploy a physical movement or a weapon or a tool to buy you 5, 6, 10 seconds. Those 10 seconds could make the difference between life and death or serious harm. Yeah? So it's now up to the legislators in the parliament. Yeah? After the outrage and the talk yesterday, there's one thing you can do. Yeah, very quickly, to erase this uncertainty over the use of pepper spray. All right, get on with it, parliamentarians. The situation in Haiti is not getting any better. And Jamaica, again, is being seen as a destination for Haitians seeking to flee their strife-torn country. And on the weekend, a small boat landed on our shores in Portland with 40 Haitians, including men, women and children, and a baby. And a request has been sent to the Ministry of National Security seeking asylum to be granted to the Haitians who arrived in Portland on Sunday. And I know this has been a controversial issue and a sensitive, knotty one, not a clear-cut one, because we are all aware that the situation in Haiti is terrible. The gangs are in control for much of the country, terrorizing the civilian population. Government doesn't really work in Haiti. Where there is no law and order, no security, governments don't work. The state is fragile and weak, almost on the brink of failure, if not failed. And they are one of our closest neighbors. And life there is wretched. However, Jamaica has to be careful that we do not become a preferred destination for Haitians seeking to flee their country. Because what would that mean for our ability or capacity to respond to their needs? For example, the 40 who are here and those who have come before, some of them have been returned. Some have somehow assimilated themselves under the radar in communities in Jamaica. Yeah, communities in St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. Yeah, they have quietly assimilated themselves. But we are not in a very strong position to open our borders to the Haitians. The impact on our healthcare systems, social systems, would be stretched beyond capacity. So it's a balancing act, because one has to be compassionate. Yeah. And we have obligations under international law. Yeah, where people on the move are concerned, where they're fleeing persecution and violence. We have some international treaty obligations. But we have to balance that with our national needs and capacity. Well, this request for asylum to be granted to them has been sent to the Ministry of National Security. And that initiative is being led by the founder of Freedom Imaginaries, Marlene Alain, who said that the letter asking for requests to be asking for asylum to be granted was hand-delivered.
Freedom Imaginary sent a request to the Ministry of National Security and PICA, the Immigration Authority, requesting that the recently arrived Haitians be granted access to an effective and fair asylum procedure, and that they also be granted access to attorneys at law so that they can be informed of their rights and the procedures available to them. I have not received a response, but the letters were hand-delivered, and so they have been stamped with an acknowledgement of receipt, but no substantive response.
Ms. Alain is urging the Holness administration to desist from what she says is the unconstitutional practice it has engaged of denying Haitians due process.
I haven't been able to speak with them, and the reason why my letter specifically requests that they be granted access to attorneys at law is because, as you know, in the past what the practice has been is to deny them access to legal counsel, and so it's a concerning practice that we've, been trying to address. But I hope that in this case they will be granted that access and that due process will be allowed to take place.
That's Marlene Alain, founder of Freedom Imaginaries. What do you think the government should do? Yeah? If you were the government, if you were the Minister of National Security, what would you do? This is a tough one, Yeah? And the latest batch who arrived on Sunday is just a part of a series or a string of Haitians who have arrived in the country illegally since 2023. Some of them have been summarily, that's the word, summarily. Lord God, that's a disaster. Summarily repatriated. Yeah? So, this is a difficult one. What would you do? Yeah? If you had to make that decision. Yeah? All right. Now, some politics. Yes. And this one will suit the comrades. Yes? The comrades this morning drop, yeah, a song as part of their election campaign. Push. Yeah? You ready for it? What's the name of the artist? Oh, the artist is a counselor for the People's National Party. Yeah, Kijana Johnson from the Racecourse Division in Southwest Clarendon. Councillor Johnson is the artist. Yeah, and we have the video and the song. Yeah, and we're going to drop it for you. Yeah, let me hear what you think about this. Yeah, here it is. That is Time Come, done by Councillor Kijani Johnson of the Racecourse Division. And that's a tune. We're going to hear many more of these in the run-up to the elections. Yeah? I see the Labourites them going crazy on YouTube. The comrades them smiling. Yeah? Comrade Shane Mark smiling from ear to ear. Juliet Sanchez said, Cliff, stop wasting airtime. Oh, God. Mad Harry, or Mad Ham says, stupidness about 28 bank book. Yeah? Linda Ming song already. Trash, said David Nebar. Yeah? Adrian Bent says, boo. Viv snooze. Yeah? Maureen Khan loves it. She's smiling ear to ear. Yeah? Bubbles, 12:15 said PNP them are mad out. This is another example. Huh? Donovan Phillips says, Sir Cliff, we don't promote propaganda. Yeah, Lenora Cliff, nothing of relevance. Everyday chat that. Yeah? Oh, Captain J trash. Kiss me teeth, says Judith Leon. What is that? Yeah? We have another video for you from the campaign trail. This one is not a song. This is serious. And it is from the opposition spokesman on security, Mr. Peter Bunting, where he says if he returns to power as Minister of National Security, he's going to put certain people in short pants. Listen to this.
And let me tell you, if I become the Minister of National Security again, and you know, I can prophesy. Last year when I told them the spark would be a Chinese contractor get it, them say a foolishness me at all. But may I prophesy again? Certain man going wear short pants. And I just want to close.
Well, Mr. Bunting is prophesying that if he were to return, certain man going wear short pants. I think we need to remind Mr. Bunting that we still have the rule of law in this country, where under our system, he doesn't get to be judge nor juror. Yeah, he doesn't. Ministers don't, have that power where they decide they can lock up their political opponents. That is for some other countries, Mr. Bunting. And we don't do that in Jamaica. This is a country of law and order. It's a democracy, a functioning democracy. Yeah? Politicians, in particular ministers, what you're threatening to do is outside of the law. We don't do that in Jamaica. So Mr. Bunting again put his foot in our mouth. Can you imagine Yeah? We have ministers deciding who wears short pants and who wears long pants. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Bunting? No. No, no, no. Time for the break. After the break, your calls.